Hi guys, and welcome to AirAbility, your regular dose of lead therapy. And today I'm going to be looking at the Edgar Brothers Arms XV2 RS. Now, what's that, I hear you say? Well, it's a rifle. It comes in at £595 with a scope. It's a regulated PCP air rifle. So, you know, this really is at the competitive end of the market. This gun is aimed at, beginners, people new to the sport, people who possibly want to use it for pesting, a bit of plinking, shooting some spinners. It's not a match rifle, but it's a very capable gun, and we'll have a bit of a chat about it now. And as ever, we'll do the walk around. Fine looking rifle, and we'll go front to back as normal. And here we go. So right at the front here we have a fully shrouded barrel, and at the end normally there's a little knurled ring that you remove to put your silencer on. Well, there isn't one on this gun. And why is that? It's because the shroud has an inbuilt silencer. And is the silencer good enough? I would say yes. I'm a back garden and plinker and shooter, and I was out all day yesterday with this using the inbuilt silencer, and it brought the noise down to a very acceptable level. So don't worry about that. It also keeps a very sleek look of the rifle without having a bulbous silencer on the end. Then right at the end here we have the fill gauge. It fills up the 200 bar, and it has a probe that you slot in the side here. So, you know, all pretty standard sort of stuff that we would expect on a PCP. Very nice, cleanly done. We have the tube here, and it goes into this front extension that comes off the block. And this houses 3 Picatinny rails, 2 at the side, 1 at the bottom here at the front. The bipod's mine, I've just put it on. But you can actually use these side Picatinny rails for, you know, lasers, torches, even, you know, put your FX chronograph on there. So the options, you know, are pretty much limitless. You've got a lot of mounting options here. Now, moving down the rail here, you can see that there's one larger Picatinny rail here, which you can put an extra grip on, or again, you can mount your bipod further back. It's all up to you. So there's loads and loads of options. And as you can see here, right here, this is where, as I said before, it's regulated, and for, you know, the price of £595, that's pretty cracking. So, yep, and this gauge here reads the pressure that the regulator runs at. Now, I've been shooting this yesterday, and obviously the chronograph came out because I'm a bit of a geek like that, and I was pretty much amazed. So I did an awful lot of shots yesterday, and all but one shot was within 5 or 6 feet per second total spread, which is very impressive for a budget air rifle. And the one shot that went astray was 8 feet per second, which, you know, isn't bad anyway. And I always say, if you can get a rifle to shoot under 10 feet per second total spread, you know, it's golden. So that was really good to know. Just one quick note, the barrel actually is their own brand barrel, and these guns are made in Turkey, and they're imported by Edgar Brothers and quality checked before they go out under their brand. Now, moving back onto the block here, there's a machined Picatinny rail here that becomes part of the block. It's all nice and solid, very well finished. We have a side cocking lever here. The magazine port goes in here. I've got the 177 variant, and that takes 14 pellets, which in the magazine, which is, you know, keeps you amused for a few minutes. Now here, the trigger, it's adjustable. It's not a match trigger, but it's perfectly functional, and it is predictable at going off. So it does the job, and it kind of reflects the level that this rifle is aimed at. Now, on top, I told you get a free scope with the rifle. Now, this is a 12 magnification scope. It's quite a simple scope. It's got a wire reticle. It delivers the accuracy that this gun is capable of. I did put my T50i on it just to see if a big boy scope would up the accuracy, and it was pretty much very similar. So they've picked the right level of scope for this rifle. What I would say is it's a get you started sort of a scope, and if you decide to upgrade in the future, probably around about 12 or 16 magnification to get the best out of this rifle is all you need to go for. Now, just getting back to the barrel here, as you can see, hang on a minute, I just wanted to demonstrate here, and you can see more clearly in the picture, the difference between, I was shooting it and I thought, I can get a little bit more out of this rifle. So I did the old, oh, has the barrel been cleaned? And as you can see here, it was a bit dirty, and a lot of rifles that come straight from the manufacturers are. So I cleaned it, and as you can see, I nearly halved the size of the group. And this is a full magazine in each of these groups. And the smaller of the group measures under 13 millimeters, which I think is pretty impressive at 25 meters with a gun of this price range. So it's perfectly adequate to, you know, a bit of ratting, rabbiting, you know, that general pest control, and shooting some spinners for fun. You know, anybody who's new to the sport or wants to get back into the sport would have a great time shooting this gun. And I really enjoyed it yesterday, and I know that's pretty much my catchphrase, but I did. So getting back here, I've, you know, mentioned the side cock and lever here. Now, we've got these kind of, you know, interchangeable AR M3 style airsoft grips here that are on a lot of the military style guns at the moment, coming from airgun manufacturers. This is interchangeable. There's loads of them on the web, so you can customize your gun to no end, as well as putting all your accessories on the rails here. You know, you can change the grip out and make the gun, you know, personal to you. So I think that is one of the interesting things about this style of gun, the way you can customize them. So on the back here, we have the standard, again, like a AR-M3 airsoft stock. You can press the button here and it'll extend. So it'll go all the way from 4-foot mat up the Yeti. So it'll pretty much accommodate most people. And then what I liked is a lot of these butts, especially on the more budget rifles, are plain and they have no functionality other than the changing of the length. But this one has a built-in cheek riser here, as you can see, and the cheek piece lifts up so you can get the correct, you know, you can line up correctly with your scope. And this is going to teach you a good cheek weld. And if you're new to the sport or getting back into it, it's going to, you know, help you get the correct cheek weld and the eye position for using your scope correctly. And then, you know, all the benefits of accuracy that come from that. Better than your head floating around in the middle of nowhere. You can lock your cheek on here and look straight down the scope. So I really like that little touch there, that they chose, you know, a butt that wasn't the basic one when they put it on here. Right at the back, it's a standard rubber butt pad that it doesn't have any adjustability, but it's very grippy. You know, to wrap things up then, you know, you get a lot of gun for your £595. You get, you know, a shrouded silenced barrel here. You get a fill gauge at the front with a probe. You get all these options to fit your accessories to your gun with your multiple Picatinny rails, etc. You get a get me started scope on the top here, which, you know, you will have hours and hours of shooting fun with. You've got the customizability of this kind of format where you can buy different grips and butts and things like that from the internet. And, you know, all of that, you can shoot a full magazine through a 12-13mm hole, which gives it options for pesting and plinking and just enjoying your shooting life, you know, and matched with the 5-foot total spread that this Regulator gun produces. You know, what more do you want for £595? This, you know, is going to make somebody's day who's new to the sport or returning to the sport, or somebody who doesn't want a mantelpiece princess that they can take out and do a bit of pesting. And I'll say it all the time, you know, I was out there yesterday living my airgun dream, really enjoying this. So until next time, guys, remember, get out there, live the airgun dream, and take care. Bye-bye.